Nandini, you come from Maharashtra and
Yes.
western part of Maharashtra, if I'm not wrong, and district Jalgaon. So what three peculiarities can you share with us of Western Maharashtra?
So if I talk about Western Maharashtra, first peculiarity is its Western Ghats, which are very orographically as well as with respect to ecology and tourism, very important. Second, if I highlight, it would be the Satpuras in the north. Um, those mark a very important geographical location for Maharashtra. Third would be its hill stations that are along the Western Maharashtra as well.
Okay, so these are the peculiarities.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, if I come from other part of the Maharashtra for the first time to visit Jalgaon, so what three places would you suggest to visit from
So the
district
first
Jalgaon?
place, so the first place would be Mehrun Lake. It is a very historic place, and Jalgaon derives its name from the Mehrun Lake itself. Second would be the Gandhi Dham, which is a depiction, a museum of the journey of Gandhiji from how he became Mahatma. And third would be the ecological parks over here, which have a good expanse.
Okay, you refer to a lake. Is it a natural lake or human made?
So the Meerun Lake is a artificial lake.
Okay, artificial lake. Okay. And can you tell us about the period in which that was artificially created?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware of the fact, but I'll read
Okay.
about it.
Okay, that is fine. That is fine. Uh, you are IT graduate, done BE in information technology.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you are asked to uh, clarify for a layperson the significance of AI, how would you do that?
So the first thing I would do is make the person observe his or her own routine, and try to point out the redundancies as well as the repetitive work that he or she has been doing. Second thing, I will, in a very layman terms, try to make them understand that there is a process and there is a system which already has learned all your routine, all the redundancies and the repeated work that you do. And the third thing I will tell that this system will assist you in a way that you will not have to do that redundant work again and again. The system will do it for you.
Okay, but still, this seems a bit jargon. So, can you do the same thing by citing out a concrete example from a daily life?
So, can I take a moment to think?
Yes.
Sir, if I have to explain, for example, to a farmer what AI is, then I would like to tell them that the irrigation system that they run, so they have to look after many things like when to start the water, when to turn it off, when there are clogs in the drains of the drip irrigation. All these have to be seen, and what proportion of water is to be given. However, I will be telling them that a machine is there which has been already trained in all this data, what your soil requires, what your crop requires. Everything has been trained in it, and it will help you to turn it off, turn it on, and tell you when it is needed to be amended. So that is AI.
Okay. See, everybody is really worried about the consequences of AI, whether it is the Western world or uh, the southern part of the world. Yeah, Eastern, we can say. Take example of India. Now, we as a society, on one hand, still are faced with the problem of illiteracy. Okay. And in this context, we are confronted with the challenges of the AI. So, in what exact way do you see or foresee, let us say, how AI would impact in society like ours?
The AI is a double-edged sword, and especially in a society like India, it will have its implications in positive as well as negative sense. Since AI is a technology which has been created by humans, and it is definitely possible to control its impacts on the society. India has a large diversity. So AI has a very large scope when it diversifies to the cultural sensitivity of India. So if that is done, it will help in preserving our culture, preserving the languages which have been going extinct. So it is going to help the society. However, if we do not put the ethical boundaries to the AI, then it is going to take over the human society.
Okay. But then the next question that we are likely to confront as far as the placing ethical boundaries are concerned, demarcating those boundaries, who would do that?
Sir, it is the responsibility of us, the creators of AI, together globally to create frameworks so that we can direct AI in a way which will be ethical.
But that would be a very generic response. We means, are we talking of society in general? And what about the government, the regulating mechanism? Yeah, we should do it jointly. So, what would be your suggestion?
So it is a multi-pronged thing to do. Firstly, it is the local issues. Like India cannot solely depend on the international frameworks. So Indian government has to take certain steps like DPDP laws we have, IT Act we have. However, internationally also we have to collaborate because it is a matter of strategic autonomy now and strategy now. AI has been a matter of that. So an international collaboration is also needed to create a common framework for different problems regarding AI.
Okay, so that is what comes to your mind. Your parents are teachers,
Yes, sir.
and I hope they are still working.
Hmm.
So, are they part of government school or private schools?
So they are not school teachers, they are private
Acha.
tutors.
Okay, okay, private tutors. Okay, okay, okay. Fine, fine. See, education, especially the primary education, okay, still confronted with number of fundamental issues. Now, if you are asked to just point out two fundamental issues, what would be those?
So the first fundamental issue would be the basics of the children. Uh,
Such
the
as,
reports, so basics in the sense, their mathematics basics, their scientific basics have been very weak. Even class 5 students are unable to comprehend what very basic mathematical calculations say. So basics is one issue. Second would be, since we are having an educational policy wherein we have digital education in question, so a digital divide among the primary students is a major issue. Hello?
yeah, go ahead. Yes,
So can I repeat the answer?
yes, yes, you can, you can.
So the first issue that I would like to underline is the basics, foundational literacy of the children. Class 5 students are as well not able to comprehend, as per the ACER report, that what class 2 stands for, what they teach. So that is one issue. Second would be, since we are moving a lot towards digital education, the digital divide between rural, urban, or different genders has become an issue for primary education.
No, no. See, the first that you just pointed out, that is, students are not able to take up the basics. Okay. So that is the consequence of some basic problem which is there in the domain of primary education. So we are interested in that. So what are those issues? Is
So
it that
this
teachers
issue,
are not teaching them? Yes.
so this issue is mainly because our older education system is very marks oriented, and students generally concentrate on the question and answers that are given behind the textbooks. So that does not create their foundational literacy. That just prompts them to get the to get the problems solved and get the papers done and take the marks. So that is one thing.
Okay.
Second would be,
So
yeah,
this is a systemic issue. This is a systemic issue.
yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
So another would be the teaching staff as well. The teachers are not equipped with the practical infrastructure so that they can make the students visualize what they are learning. They just orally try to tell them on the textual basis, from a personal experience, sir, on the textual basis, that what the words stand for, but not what the meaning behind those stand for. So students lack in foundational literacy.
Okay. See, you identified digital gap, digital divide as
Yes, sir.
another problem. Okay. So what can possibly be done to deal with that?
So to deal with digital divide, the first thing would be we have to engage internet supply to the remote as well as areas which have been backward in development. We have an initiative called BharatNet for it. We can use that. Second would be we have to involve Gram Panchayats as well as Gram Sabhas and deliberate with them as to how infrastructure, digital infrastructure can be made available for the people. And third would be common service centers should be there in all the villages, and it should be properly furbished with the proper infrastructure.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Yes.
So, Nandini,
Yes, sir.
you have a very strong academics, 10th, 12th, even in the graduation. And you have done your graduation in information technology, which is a very upcoming, yes, a lot of opportunities there, right?
Yes, sir.
So, why choose civil services?
The civil service, because I have always been searching for a job profile wherein I would like to choose that job for each day, for the rest of my job career. So when I was looking at civil services, I thought this might be the job which will be taking me out of my box, which will be helping me think beyond myself. While I also use my technological background to specifically apply it in administrative generalist qualities. So the generalism that is attached with civil service attracts me more, sir.
Okay, okay. But when you are saying taking out of the box, what exactly it means?
So by out of the box, I mean from the personal example, uh, I have experienced the corporate world, and I have seen many peers in that world, and it becomes a human tendency to think just for the weekends and just around our own life. But there is no thinking out of the box because people don't have that energy left to think about the society, what we have to give back to the society. So thinking a bit about that also was my motive.
Okay. But when you are saying that corporate people, as from your experience, are just thinking about the weekends because there is no energy left in them. So can we also see it from this point of view that they are putting a lot of efforts to perform well in their own organization? And that is why private sector has more efficiency than government sector. And that's why nowadays a lot of privatization is happening, even in India also, especially after 1991. And in the contemporary scenario, a lot of government organizations like PSUs are also being privatized. So what is your take on that?
So absolutely, the software developers, the people working in the corporate world have been doing their best given their interests in the field and given their inclinations to work in the particular company. And they have been giving their best, and it justifies because India is one of the largest IT as well as ITES service exporter. And that is mainly because our workforce is as skilled and as interested in dispensing their responsibilities in the company. And given the disinvestment that has been going on and privatization that has been going on, sir, the workforce have been doing really well for India, and the skilling for them is also top notch.
It is also mentioned that you have received Mahajyoti scholarship.
Yes.
What is it exactly?
The Mahajyoti scholarship is for aspirants for different exams, but I took it for the UPSC exam. It also provides tuitions, I mean, the classes for UPSC, as well as funding for going to some other city and settling there while we study for the class.
Okay. But why the name Mahajyoti? What it is associated with?
The Mahajyoti, as far as I know, it is a scholarship for social equality for the backward classes like OBC, SC, ST, as well as others, so that they can get a leveling opportunity to get tuitions in better areas.
Okay. Is it associated with Mahatma Phule and Savitribai Phule? Is it such? Yes.
So it has stemmed from the very idea that Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and Savitribai Phule have started education in Maharashtra for the first time in India as well. So it has stemmed from that itself.
Okay. And now you have done your graduation in Pune. Can you connect Pune with Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and Savitribai Phule's work?
Their prominent groundwork was began from Pune itself. Savitri Bai Phule started the first college and schools for girls in Pune itself, and Mahatma Jyotiba Phule also, along with her, started orphanages for children, as well as widow homes wherein they used to give literacy to the widows. So they have worked relentlessly from Pune, which stemmed from Pune, the education for girls, which took birth in Pune, got spread to entire India later.
And while answering one of the earlier questions, you have mentioned related to Western Ghats and other parts of Maharashtra. So can you tell me the different tribal communities living in different parts of Maharashtra and do classify them according to certain criteria?
Sir, the tribals in Maharashtra, particularly in North Maharashtra, it can be found, Gonds can be found here, Bhils can be found, Katkaris can be found. These are simply tribals, STs. In the eastern Maharashtra, that is Gadchiroli area, there are again Gonds are there. Madia Gonds can be found. And in other parts of the Maharashtra as well, tribes are found. However, there can be differentiation in a way that there are PVTGs. Two particularly vulnerable tribal groups exist in Maharashtra. One is Katkari and the other is Madiagon, and they have been spreading across the state.
Okay, okay. And what is the government policy towards these particularly vulnerable tribal groups? In the sense that are the efforts are toward assimilating them into the mainstream, or the efforts are primarily focusing on keeping them isolated so as to protect their culture?
So the government for PVTGs as well as for other tribals follows tribal Panchil. So tribal Panchil is about giving them opportunities and letting them know that there are opportunities available for them. However, they can avail those opportunities while they protect their culture and according to their own access. So the government has a stand wherein they enable the preservation of their culture as well as development for them. So it is both isolation as well as integration.
Okay. So during the framing of the constitution, we can say let's say late 1940s and in the very beginning of 1950s. So government was trying to prepare a policy for the tribals, and the output was Panchashila, as you have mentioned. So can you name a very famous anthropologist during that time who has influenced the policy of the government of that time?
So the anthropologist was Varier Alvin. He was a Christian missionary turned anthropologist of the time.
Okay. And he has written very famous books. Can you name at least two books of him?
So the one book I can remember is The Philosophy of NEFA, Northeast Frontier Agency. And sir, the other book, I'm sorry, I'm able to recall one.
I will give you a hint here. He has studied one particular tribal community from that region. He has also named the book on the same.
So then that book should be The Beggars because he has studied beggars in MP.
Okay, fine. Sir.
Okay. Ms. Nandini, you are coming from Maharashtra. Maharashtra is very diverse state, right? There is diversity in culture, food. Okay. But why Maharashtrian food is not that much famous? Like we see that Punjabi food is famous, but we never see that Maharashtrian food is famous out of Maharashtra.
So Maharashtra, as you said, is very diverse, and Maharashtra's culture is very cosmopolitan, where people from different parts of the world as well as the country come in and do their jobs, migrate here, get their livelihoods taken. So it has been diluted to a larger extent, the cuisines as well as the Maharashtra's food. So that can be one of the reason, the cosmopolitan nature. Second could be. Second could be, sir, it is not the case that Maharashtrian food is not very famous. The pockets of, especially for example, Solapur, wherein Tamda Rassa is very famous. That is also famous in the northern parts, like in Delhi. It is very famous, and other parts of the country as well. So there are cases, there are pockets in Maharashtra which have preserved their very indigenous and very cultural specific cuisines. So those are famous.
Okay, it is also said that in Maharashtra, there are two Maharashtras. One is urban Maharashtra, urban developed Maharashtra, and another is a rural poor Maharashtra. So there are many problems of rural Maharashtra. Can you enumerate those problems of rural Maharashtra?
So the first problem would be the farmer distress, especially the Vidarbha and Marathwada region, wherein the agricultural productivity as well as water stress is a big issue. Second would be the digital divide. In rural Maharashtra, there is less connectivity as compared to the urban Maharashtra. Third would be the industrial setup. In the urban Maharashtra, sir, the industries are very expansive and there is a huge scope for economic development there. But in rural Maharashtra, the industrial base has been largely remained substandard.
Okay, so what reasons are behind this? Why this divide remain despite being almost 80 years after independence?
So the divide remains mainly because the first reason is uh, the agricultural status. A large group of people in Maharashtra, around 50%, are engaged in agriculture and allied activities right now. So that makes a huge difference in the industrial services as well as the agricultural services. Second would be certain regions like Vidarbha and Marathwada were left behind because they fall in the rain shadow area as well as the erratic monsoons caused the once very productive agriculture over there to go less productive. Third would be, sir, there is a stretch of tribal area in the eastern Maharashtra, and it has been very difficult to nab the Naxalism over there, and it has largely hindered the developmental policies to reach there sometimes. So those can be the reasons.
Okay, for rural development, we passed 73rd Amendment Act. Again, Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samiti, JDPs, they develop in rural Maharashtra also. But despite being that, it is said that this has helped just to politicize the rural people. And beyond that, it hasn't worked. So what is your take on this? So do you agree with this?
I don't agree with the view completely. There might be lacunas of politicization in case. However, the advantages that it has provided surpasses the lacunas. First would be women reservation was made in these amendments, so women have been more participatory into the democratic process. Second would be uh, participation of people in general. The democratic and electoral participation of people has increased drastically. Third would be, sir, the policies, the last mile delivery of the policies was made very streamlined and very proctored to the needs of every location because of the gram panchayats and municipalities.
Okay, so these schemes are implemented through this Panchayat Raj system, according to you. So, what is the position of DRDA there? Do you know about the DRDA, District Rural Development Agencies?
So I'm
Have you heard
not
about it?
particularly aware.
Okay, you are not particularly aware about it. See, in Maharashtra, we talk about the good governance also, and on the case of governance, it is ahead of many states. Okay, so how you will define good governance? And in Maharashtra, on which front work has been done so that governance has developed there?
The good governance for me, as I would like to define it, is a type of dispensing of policies in a way which are accessible to the people. There is transparency involved, proper accountability mechanisms are there, proper feedback mechanisms are there, like grievance redressal mechanisms for the citizens, and there is integrity while implementation of those policies. So that would be good governance. Regarding the steps that have been taken in Maharashtra, sir, Maharashtra has a robust grievance redressal mechanism here. For example, in Pune MNC, there are portals which provide citizens with the facility to express their grievances. Also, sir, second, transparency has been largely checked. For example, there has been, again in the Pune MNC, there is one topic per week initiative wherein government records are kept in front of people to scrutinize. So, third would be there is a good accountability mechanism in Maharashtra as well. Its decentralized three-tier structure has been relentlessly working in a coordinated way for it.
Okay, sir. So, Miss Nandini,
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Do you know about Nandini Chakravarti? Who is Nandini Chakravarti?
Sir, Nandini Chakravarti recently is the first woman Chief Secretary of West Bengal. Sir, I know that much about her.
Okay, you are also interested in Prachin Kala, or you have something written in your detailed application from about Prachin Kala, right?
Yes, sir.
So, what kind of Prachin Kala you are interested in? Which Kala can be called as a Prachin Kala?
So basically, my interests are aligned with classical singing, and it comes under the Prachin Kala Kendra as my parent institute.
Yeah, that is your institute, but what Kala can be called as a Prachin Kala?
So the art forms which have their roots, which have been brought through generations across generations and have still remained in the Vedas. They have their mention in Natya Shastras. All these forms of dances or music can be termed as Prachin Kala.
Okay, do you continue practicing dances?
Can you please repeat, sir?
Are you continuing? Are you practicing dances even today also?
Sir, is the question for me personally or in general?
No, it's question your context. Are you practicing dances?
So I'm not particularly inclined towards the classical dancing. It's classical singing for me.
Okay, okay, sorry, I misinterpreted that. Fine. Now, Nandini, as far all civil servants are concerned, there has been observation that civil servant these days they lack ethical values in them, and they are more involved in corruption and scandals, and they are not delivering up to the mark as per their mandate. So, do you really see they are not able to deliver as per their mandate?
Sir, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel quoted the bureaucracy as a steel frame of India. And I think the frame is still held up and the country is working because bureaucrats have been working relentlessly behind the curtains to make the system work. There have been lacunas where there have been corruption cases, there have been scams, there have been frauds. However, sir, it has been largely having the capacity of reforming into a bureaucracy which can be forward looking and be able to remove those lacunas.
Okay, so you also admit that there are certain lacunas and we need
Yes, sir.
certain reforms. Can you please
Yes.
elaborate which reforms area we can highlight at present to improve the efficiency of bureaucracy?
So first thing that we can do is the unnecessary redundant procedures that are involved. For example, in documentation, etc. These can be streamlined. Second would be we can use technology, like we can use AI, ML, we can use GIS mapping, citizen charters digitally, etc. So that there can be
Yeah,
accountability mechanisms.
already citizen charter is in place.
So citizen charters may be in place, but they are not getting the fame as they should among the citizens. So it is necessary that we let citizens know that citizen charters exist.
So this is issue on the part of bureaucracy, or is this issue on the part of people?
So the foremost issue is on the part of the system that people won't know unless the system tells them about it. On the other hand, there is an issue with the people also, that people are not very participatory in these cases and they generally override these things.
You are appointed as a district magistrate and you are asked to bring more and more people participation into the business of governance. So tell us 3 or 4 important steps we should like to take to improvise the participation of people in decision making process.
So first would be I would like to conduct campaigns for electoral literacy and in schools, colleges, especially because youth can be sensitized more reformatively, and through that a filtered approach can be taken. Second would be, sir, as I said, citizen charters and their publication properly should be done. Third would be grievance redressal mechanisms should be there. Sir, in Jalgaon city itself, I have seen that people have grievances, but they don't find it very easy to address those grievances. So proper single window clearance mechanisms are needed there.
Okay, and what about the awareness? Don't you think that is equally important to bring people on board in governance procedures?
Yes, sir. The awareness campaigns form an important part of the literacy campaign about the democratic participatory literacy.
Okay, can we take help of media to reach out more and more people?
Absolutely, sir. Media, in the sense newspapers, social media in particular, can be widely used to sensitize people about governance participation.
Recently, our government has passed a act called a Shanti Act, right? So bill has been
Yes,
passed
sir.
and now it is an act. So what are the important provisions of Shanti Act?
So the first important provision is that it now allows private investment in nuclear power generation. Uh, Second would be, sir, the civil nuclear liabilities that was the act before. So the entire liability was placed on the supplier as well as the person involved in setting up the companies. But now government has kept a cap on it that 300 crore rupees would be the cap for the liability, and other that will be shifted towards the government exchequer. So, sir, I can remember the two provisions.
So don't you think government is not taking a proper step because the only cap has been fixed to a certain limit? The expenses of any nuclear hazard may go more than that. And why government should bear the cost for the fault of the private operators, even the suppliers?
So the basic motive of government behind this step was to not cause deterrence among the investors, because it was the case that investors used to fear to invest in Indian nuclear power, energy program because they were fearful of the liabilities and the compliances. However, giving more deliberation to it, how because the if the damages go beyond the cap that the government has kept, then the pressure is going to be shifted towards the Indian taxpayers. So more deliberation is required on this point.
Okay, and one last question. Do you think that we require anti-racism law in India?
So I absolutely agree that we require an anti-racism law so that it can be penalized when incidents like anti-racial attacks happen.
And what is withholding government from bringing such anti-racism law in India?
So India is a diverse country, and when we bring laws like anti-racial laws, it becomes it is a very lengthy process, and it is a very big task to identify the races, how we are going to differentiate it, and especially being culturally very sensitive when framing these policies. While government is really considering bringing such law, there will be a vast procedure as to how we are going to include each and every culture and its respect in it.
Okay, one more question. Were you employed?
Sorry, sir.
Were you working somewhere?
So I only did an internship at a company, Adobe.
Okay, and what if you don't get selected this year? What is going to be planned for next 1 year?
So if I unfortunately am not able to get through this year, I will be preparing for another attempt, but I will be also stepping my foot into exploring more opportunities in entrepreneurship.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.